let's talk about Zeke. Hi, folks. Welcome back to another exciting episode of the D.Bell Sports Podcast. I'm your host, D.Bell, and today we're going to talk about Zeke Elliott. Zeke, who had come back to the team on a one-year deal after being with the New England Patriots during the 2023 season, has officially been cut. He requested it, and he got it. Now, what do we do with the running back position going into 2025? And how did we get here? Well, the NFL draft this year was April 25th, 27th. At that time, we had running backs Rico Dowdle, Deuce Vaughn, and Royce Freeman. Tony Pollard had already signed with the Titans in March, wanted to be closer to his family, and went to college in Memphis, so it made sense for him. Royce Freeman was acquired on April 16th and signed to a one-year deal. He played for the Rams the year before, accumulating 317 yards on 73 carries. He also played with the Texans, Panthers, and Broncos, where he had his best year in 2018, rushing for 521 yards. He was clearly a backup, but we decided to roll with him. We also got Rico Dowdle, an undrafted free agent we picked up in 2020. He played sparsely that year and did not garner significant playing time until 2023, where he had 361 yards as the backup to Tony Pollard. At that time, Zeke was already gone. We also had Deuce Vaughn, who was drafted in 23 and was a standout at Kansas State. So, the draft. The draft happened. I was really hoping that we would get a running back, but that was not the case. And there were some good running backs, not too many. There weren't any first-round prospects. But I would say Bucky Irving has been pretty solid for the Bucs. Jonathan Brooks was taken in round 2, so he was the first off the board. He went to the Panthers, but unfortunately he had been sidelined by injuries and is once again sidelined by a major injury, which means he's not going to be able to play for probably a significant portion of the 2025 season, unfortunately. Trey Benson from Florida State went to the Cardinals in round 3. He had 291 yards. Could have got him. We could have also got Blake Corum, round 3, national champion with Michigan, who went to the Rams. Of course, Bucky Irving, round 4. Bucky Irving has 1,033 yards, so he's been great. He's been great for the Buccaneers. Will Shipley went in round 4. Isaac Guerendo, also round 4, went for 415 yards for the 49ers. He's really had to step up. Now, some of these guys aren't perfect, but we really could have used someone to help out Rico Dowdle this year. Now, unfortunately, our 4th round pick, which we could have got some of these guys maybe, was spent on Trey Lance, which is so frustrating because he's played so sparsely this year. But whatever, it's fine. Okay, so we didn't draft a running back. So who could we have gotten anyway? The free agents. Who were the free agents before and after the draft? So Derrick Henry signed with the Ravens in March. Saquon Barkley with the Eagles in March. Josh Jacobs with the Packers in March. And we should have done something in free agency in March. Anyway, Kareem Hunt eventually went to the Chiefs, but this kills me. He signed September 17th. September. We clearly needed someone by September. We knew what was happening, and yet we didn't even take a look at him. I don't know. Whatever. But Zeke was signed after the draft on April 30th to a one-year deal. So we decided to bring him back for 1 year for Rico Dowdle, Deuce Vaughn, and check out Royce Freeman, see if he's doing good. So what happened after that? Well, Royce Freeman never saw the field, having been released on August 27th. But on August 28th, the day after, we signed Dalvin Cook to the practice squad. Dalvin Cook had 4 1,000-yard seasons with Minnesota, so in general, I think the Cowboys fans saw him as an insurance policy in case Zeke wasn't quite up to the challenge, which, okay, well maybe he works out. At least that's how I saw it, especially when I saw Zeke play early on. Now, he was primarily a backup to Breece Hall with the Jets in 23, so he did not get significant carries and only started 1 game that last season. But, hey, that was fine with me. Maybe we can get him back to form, and he can help us out. So right now, we have Dalvin Cook in our practice squad, Zeke, Rico Dowdle, and Deuce Vaughn. Zeke. Zeke's best game was against Cleveland in Week 1, getting 40 yards on the ground and catching 2 passes for 9 yards. But that would unfortunately be his best game for the season. He only got 30 rushing yards or more 2 more times. And in total, he had 226 rushing yards on the season. Deuce Vaughn has never escaped that third string mentality and never really garnered significant playing time. He played in 6 games, accumulating 33 yards rushing and 18 yards receiving. Dalvin Cook, remember him? I was so excited to see him activated off the practice squad for the 49ers game. Rico Dowdle was getting like 30, 40 yards. Zeke was flatlining. And Deuce Vaughn was a non-factor, except against the Steelers, miraculously, when he got 87 rushing yards. But, with Dalvin Cook, I thought maybe he could help us out, But in that game, he got 6 carries for 12 yards. My soul was crushed. Ugh. Two carries the game after that against the Falcons for a measly 8 yards. So 20 total yards on the season. Great. So we really only had Zeke and Rico Dowdle. Oh yeah, Rico Dowdle. Let's check in on him. He wasn't doing too much. When he had a good game, like against the Steelers, he would have a bad game, like against the Lions, when he got 25 rushing yards. Then, hey, 75 yards against the Falcons. Awesome. But then 53 and 28 the next 2 games. Okay. Really hit a nice stride against the Giants in late November, getting 112 yards, which would start a 3-game streak of getting over 100 yards. So he got 100 yards against the Giants, Bengals, and Panthers. Very nice. Then another down game against the Bucs, 23 yards. Okay. Then 104 on the Eagles. That brought his grand total to 1,070 yards on the season. A first undrafted player in history to get that. So that's great. He broke the record. So Zeke is gone, Deuce Vaughn is a backup, and Royce Freeman left the building long ago. I don't even know what we're doing with Dalvin Cook. The one bright spot this season seems to be Rico Dowdle. Maybe we didn't know that Rico Dowdle would be this good, or that Zeke would be so bad, or that Deuce Vaughn really wouldn't see the field as much. Maybe we just didn't know. But Zeke's numbers were going down and Rico's were going up. And as the primary backup to Tony Pollard, he was now getting significant playing time. So I don't know. I don't know why we didn't get anyone else. We're really going to have to look at the draft to evaluate Ashton Jeanty, Dylan Sampson. I think our draft stock will be high enough that we can get a good running back. If that happens, he would be our primary RB1, and then Rico Dowdle could back him up. Maybe they could compete a little bit, have a good running back tandem, and then Deuce Vaughn would be that third stringer again. But I hope we get somebody. I hope we get another running back. We really need him. But I'll just say, cross my fingers. We'll see what happens in April. But thanks so much for watching. Thank you so much to my Patreon members. And, of course, go Cowboys.